Why is men and women can't be friends such a common opinion? I think part of it is that we tend to assume that the things we see written online are by people who are close to our own age. As someone in his 40s, I'll read something and think, what grown adult actually thinks this? And then realize it's someone in high school and I'm like, oh. So many of these immature sentiments are being put out there by actual kids. So many racist little Eric Cartmans and precious little theater kids are projecting their very childish ideals with no filter or context. And it echoes into this giant monolith that everyone looks at as, I guess this is what everyone believes now, when in reality most of the world doesn't see things that way. I don't think the answers in this thread are representative of the average adult. Seems like everyone's speaking from immature points of view. Friendship between men and women is super normal and it becomes much more common the older you get. If this were true, then bi people wouldn't have friends. Only pray. I feel like men and women can't be friends, and male-female friendships usually end up with one catching feelings for the other, are two separate statements. The first I would say is absolutely false. The second is often true. But catching feelings can have a variety of different outcomes, including but not limited to. They end up in a romantic relationship, one rejects the other. The friendship ends, one rejects the other. The friendship wanes for a period of time while the rejected party mourns and works through their feelings. The rejector may also have feelings to work through, like guilt for hurting their friend, one rejects the other. There are no hard feelings. Friendship continues. I think the biggest hurdle to men and women being friends are things like how society prioritizes romantic relationships over friendships, and the idea that men are always inherently sexual around women. Let's not forget how these attitudes erase LGBTQ+, including asexual and aromantic folk. Friendship can lead to feelings, but feelings don't always mean an end to friendship. I think this attitude doesn't give people much credit when it comes to self-control and emotional maturity. I'm 58F, so I'll answer from the standpoint of saying, I tried, for 5 decades. Since childhood. To have just a friend. Sure. Absolutely. It's possible on my side. Minus the early years of obsessing about my best friend's brother, where I would use any opportunity to be near him, as the friend, and build hopes that he would fall in love with me. He did. In fact, fall in love with me, as evidenced by, I love you, and all that goes with that. Having said that, I have experienced some of the most unholy, crazy, creepy obsessions even after I have gotten brutal with, I have zero interest in you romantically, and if you say or do another thing in that way, I cannot be your friend. And then I've had to cut them from my life. I have had more than one progress to outright stalking. One currently involves a restraining order. If a man outright told me he is not interested whatsoever and that he will need to contact the law if I continue, that would be more than enough for me. I've been accused of leading someone on. Oh man. I guess they do not know what real interest from a woman is, because not a chance. Maybe I would have to view video footage of my behavior in those younger days to see if I was, in fact, inadvertently doing so. If laughing at shared jokes and grabbing a sandwich at lunch is misconstrued, then I'm guilty. But I have always clarified any awkward misunderstandings. And if I'm the one who is feeling romantic hopes about a friend, I want out. I don't want to exist in a state of wanting or hoping. I give it enough time to see if there is a return interest, and I might even dare to put it out there, but if it is not reciprocated, it is usually crushing. But ultimately it's on us not to make someone uncomfortable. It has just hurt far too much to be just a friend when wanting more. I'm not strong enough to watch them seek out other people. Friends with the opposite sex? My bae. A very cautious maybe from my point of view. Lots of people have experience with friends that tells them that. I don't think many people think it's actually impossible. Just that it often ends in one or both people with romantic feelings. I think the real answer is sometimes men and women can be friends. And sometimes they cannot. I don't know why everything has to be so black and white online when real life has layers and layers of nuance in almost every situation. Lol. I would say it's about failing to see the other gender as full people and instead viewing them exclusively through the lens of sexuality or romantic partnerships. That is obviously not the only reason, but it is the one I see most often and also the one I think is the most pernicious. Because people can't keep it in their pants. They act like they have to do something with everyone of the opposite sex. Most people I know don't have that view. I'm male and have had mainly female friends since high school. My girlfriend has male and female friends. I've never encountered a problem. Maybe it depends on the circles you're in. In many cases, one or both end up at least being attracted to the other person. This can cause issues if the people are in relationships. But it's totally possible to have platonic friends of the opposite sex. Honestly, I had both male and female friends in school, but haven't had any male friends since then. I'm female. No opportunities to, and I'd just rather not make new male friends while I'm in a relationship. Most of my friends are women. I don't want to sleep with any of them. Case closed. People that disagree with me on this matter are childish conspiracy theorists. Quote, is not the way to start an adult conversation. It's passive, aggressive ad hoc that taints things before they start. Especially on Reddit, where you're going to have people that agree upvoting, and people that disagree irritated and commenting. And no understanding reached. Just karma and the playing chess with a pigeon effect. Hundreds of magazine articles inspired by this speech from When Harry Met Sally. https u2.be/i8capem6new. Harry Burns. You realize of course that we could never be friends. Sally Albright. Why not? Harry Burns. What I'm saying is, and this is not a come on in any way, shape or form, is that men and women can't be friends because the sex part always gets in the way. Sally Albright. That's not true. I have a number of men friends and there is no sex involved. Harry Burns. No you don't. Sally Albright. Yes I do. Harry Burns. No you don't. Sally Albright. Yes I do. Harry Burns. You only think you do. Sally Albright. You say I'm having sex with these men without my knowledge? Harry Burns. No. What I'm saying is they all want to have sex with you. Sally Albright. They do not. Harry Burns. Do too. Sally Albright. They do not. Harry Burns. Do too. Sally Albright. How do you know? Harry Burns. Because no man can be friends with a woman that he finds attractive. He always wants to have sex with her. Sally Albright. So, you're saying that a man can be friends with a woman he finds unattractive? Harry Burns. No. You pretty much want to nail him too. Sally Albright. What if they don't want to have sex with you? Harry Burns. Doesn't matter because the sex thing is already out there, so the friendship is ultimately doomed. And that is the end of the story. Sally Albright. Well, I guess we're not going to be friends then. Harry Burns. I guess not. Sally Albright. That's too bad. You were the only person I knew in New York. Because some people can't keep it in their pants and blame it on anything but themselves. I don't have a great answer to why, but this reminded me of something that happened recently. My wife had a male friend reach out through FB after not speaking for over 20 years. It started out innocent enough. The usual how's life? It's been a long time. Yada yada. She replied back it's great to hear from him, then he immediately turned it into telling her he'd be DTF if she was. She told him she's happily married with kids and he made her extremely uncomfortable. He apologized and said he's happy she's happy. Even 20+ years of no contact isn't enough to keep some dudes from trying. It's a more common with men, and mostly about men who are single. Men who have a partner are usually able to be platonic friends with their partner's female friends. But they aren't really his friends at that point. Men are able to snuff out the intentions of other men more easily. And the same can be said about women for women. In my experience, single men aren't friends with women they aren't attracted to. This is probably where terms like fat phobia stem from. If a man is your friend, he probably finds you attractive enough to have sex with. A lot of guys, especially nice guys, will sit on the sidelines until it's their turn, usually after the girl has shut down their attempts to date. A friendship isn't a friendship if both parties have different intentions. They may not interfere with your relationships, but they'll be lurking to comfort you in a breakup, hoping to swoop in while you're vulnerable. Does every guy do this? No, but enough do that men will be uncomfortable with their GFS having close male friends. Not only have I seen this in action, I've heard numerous men talk about those intentions before the relationship in question ends. Horny MFs ruin public opinion. The opinion is the result of social conditioning. A person is a person. Thinking of people of the opposite sex as only fit for romance is very weird actually. I'm a straight man who works in an industry that is dominated by women. I'm an artist and public school teacher. I am the only male art teacher in my district. Many of my friends are women and it is entirely normal and not at all weird. My wife is a software engineer, and as such works with a lot of men, although her company is pretty progressive. She is a real introvert, so she doesn't have a ton of friends she hangs out with, but there are men. We are both friends with each other's friends and coworkers as well. And it is not weird. It's only weird because people have made it weird via gender roles and social control. I think the problem isn't that they can't be friends, but that there are so many unhealthy people with poor boundaries that they don't have healthy friendships either. And too many people have a fixation on wanting the next thing and complete discontent with what they have. That being friends ends up being more. So few care to appreciate what they have that they end up neglecting it. Of course, men and women can be friends, but people with poor boundaries can't do it without it crossing lines.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.